This is the unabridged recording of Tanzy's Titan, Cosmos's Gateway, Book 3, by S. E. Smith, read by Suzanne Elise Freeman. Chapter 1. Tansy Bell let her head drop back against the wall she was sitting against and stretched her leg out in front of her. She grimaced as pain and fatigue tried to sink its nasty claws into her. Biting her lip to keep from crying out, she pulled the torn material she was using as a bandage back and looked at the wound on her leg. Getting shot sucked, Tansy decided. Getting shot twice sucked even more. She ignored the wound on her side. It wasn't as bad as the one on her leg. Her shirt was stuck to it anyway, and she hoped the bleeding had stopped. She was lucky she wasn't in worse shape than she was, considering how many guns had been firing at her. At least the one on my side is just a flesh wound, she thought tiredly, unlike the wound in her upper thigh. She choked on the acid filling her throat as she probed the wound, trying to see how far the bullet was embedded. She was pretty sure it wasn't too deep. If it had been, she would never have been able to run at all. A shudder went through her as excruciating pain flared out, radiating through her body in wave after nauseating wave. "This totally sucks," Tansy whispered as she wiped a stray tear from her cold, clammy face. She was deep under cover, and no one would even acknowledge she existed, much less come to help her. Tansy closed her eyes, waiting for the nausea to pass. She had an emergency medical kit she'd put together, but she didn't relish having to operate on herself, especially in her present environment. This was not where she wanted to die, but unless she could pull another miracle out of her pocket, it was highly unlikely she would make it out alive. The area was crawling with pissed-off bad guys who wanted the information she stole back. They also wanted her as well, preferably still alive, so they could have fun killing her slowly. Tansy pulled the backpack she'd dropped earlier closer to her. No sense in putting off the inevitable. If she didn't get the bullet out, she wouldn't heal, and it would only hurt worse later. Not to mention, she thought ruefully, it is harder than hell trying to run with one moving around in your leg. She should know, because that was exactly what she had been doing for the past couple of hours. Rummaging around, she pulled the small kit out. It contained a topical and local anesthetic, sterilized kit with a scalpel, sutures, bandages, and antibiotics. Opening it, Tansy focused her mind on what she was doing, and not on how much pain she was in. She used her knife to cut the hole in her black pants wider, so she could see what she was doing. Ripping the packaging for the needle open with her teeth, she quickly filled it from the small vial. She numbed the area around the wound before pulling the packaging containing the scalpel and tweezers toward her. Poking the area to see if it was numb enough, she was satisfied she could work on it. She carefully enlarged the entrance wound, letting the soiled materials she had wrapped around it before catch the blood pouring from the wound. Using the tweezers, she felt for the slug. Fortunately, it didn't appear to be that deep or have hit anything major. She carefully pulled it out. Using her forearm, she wiped the sweat from her brow that formed despite the near-freezing temperature in the abandoned building she was hiding in. Blood flowed thick and rich from the wound, and Tansy quickly wiped what she could up before picking up the suturing kit and began sewing up the hole in her thigh. Once she was done, she cleaned the area and wrapped a clean, sterile bandage over it before giving herself an antibiotic shot. When she was done, she peeled her shirt from her side and cleaned and bandaged that wound as well. Next, she pulled a regular sewing kit from her bag and sewed the hole in her pants and shirt so it wasn't too noticeable. Once she was patched up as best she could, she cleaned the area until she was satisfied there was no evidence she had ever been there. She would need to move again once it was dark. She needed to put as much distance as possible between her and the men looking for her. Tansy grimaced as she put weight on her leg. It was numb.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?